Welcome back. No matter what they might say, you know that revenge is on the minds of the OU football team. It's calm here in Morgantown right now, but tomorrow night it's going to be a rowdy and hostile environment here at Milan-Pusker Stadium. You know, I said before the game, my key to this game was OU on the road here in Morgantown. You have to start fast. You have to establish a run game with Joe Mixon and Samaje Perine, and that's what they did. The Cubs and Indians squared off last night in a Game 6, and the Cubbies brought the wood early and often. Chris Bryant started the game off going yard to left, and Addison Russell followed in the third with a grand slam.
Reagan, OU is now 6-0 in Big 12 play.
You know, I don't know how it's happened. You come into this game without your top two running backs, a mix of wide receivers, and somehow you're 6-0 heading into Baylor week next week. Vaughn Kruger and the Sooners were back in the LNC last night for a midweek matchup with Northern Colorado. It was a rough shooting night for OU as they were 4 of 15 from deep and only up 6 of the half. The Sooners pulled away late in the second half behind a big 17 points from Christian Doolittle. I think it's important for OU to not only start fast, but get Joe Mixon involved early. And we saw it down in Houston. Those first 2 drives, it was all Mixon. And look what happened. They had 2 good drives, 10 points starting out early. But that's where it all fell off, and now we've seen the last couple of weeks struggling to run the ball. It's time to honor that whiner of the week. On this edition, we head back to the East Coast. This week, Cam Newton is crying and whining. The reigning MVP thinks he's not getting the calls that other quarterbacks do. But Mr. Newton has a point to a point. But to whine about it after the game does no good for anyone, except people like me who like to call out the whiner of the week.
The story of my life ever since I came in is just, well, we missed that one. I'm sorry, I'll try to get it. That's bullcrap. That's bullcrap. It's not fun. It's really taking the fun out of the game for me.
I'd be whining too if I had to wear that suit. That's pretty hideous if you ask me. But Cam, you know, football is not fun when you're 2-5. Last year you weren't whining and you were 15-1. Last season, they rode into Dallas after winning their first 4 games, only to fall to the Longhorns 24-17 in a game that wasn't really that close. The Sooners' tackling was awful, and the offense was just as bad. It was a wild one here in Fort Worth as OU escaped the late TCU comeback to get the win, 52-46. This game had the good, the bad, and the ugly. A key target for Baker with the loss of Shepard. Turns out, halfway through the season, he's now a big target for Baker like we all expected to see. And Bob Stoops had plenty to say about those 2 guys.
Reagan, what is the team going to do without Joe Mixon?
Thanks, guys. That's the big question, but the Sooners think they have the answer with a young star in the backfield. Sports is straight ahead. Where most players, if you're a walk-on, there's no chance that you'd be on the football team anymore because, you know, Bob Stoops wouldn't kick you off the team if you're a walk-on.
He's running on thin ice right now.
Exactly, but you're on zero-tolerance policy for issues that you had before you even started playing here, and then you get another chance, and you do something like that, that's just pathetic. And finally, it's here. It's Wine Wednesday. Over here at OU Nightly Sports, a new tradition we're calling Whiner Wednesday, and our first official winner, or whiner, is Giants receiver Odell Beckham Jr. But the Sooners that are still on the team have their focus elsewhere, and that is Saturday in Morgantown. The 9th-ranked Sooners hit the road for a late-season battle with West Virginia. OU comes into the game on a 7-game win streak in the Big 12. This game may be OU's toughest test yet, as they will play in a rowdy and hostile environment against the top defense in the conference. And we saw a couple weeks ago at Iowa State, having Samaje Perine and Joe Mixon out, the Sooners struggled to get into a rhythm all game, and that really limits the passing game as well. If you can't run the ball with those athletes, you can't open the door for Baker Mayfield to find lanes and find guys to pass to. You're a quarterback for a Division I college football team in a top conference, and you're worried about taking in the moment of college football season? Like, you've been playing all your life, and you're all of a sudden just so worried about, you know, taking in the moment, and that's affecting your play? Come on, man! The winning ways continued on the softball field. OU brought out the brooms for a sweep over rival Texas this weekend. The highlight was Aaron Miller's senior day walk-off bomb on Friday. The sweep extended the Sooners' win streak to 7 over the Longhorns. 1 weekend, 2 national titles. OU men and women's gymnastics both brought home the hardware this weekend. After a disappointing 3rd-place finish for the women last year, they stayed true to their make it count motto. They topped LSU and Bama to claim their 2nd title in just 3 years. Championship November has arrived as OU football prepares for a tough ending to the Big 12 slate. The first on the list is a struggling Baylor team. The Sooners and Bears square off on Saturday in Norman as OU looks to improve to 7-0 in Big 12 play. And that's what helped OU get out to that big lead. I think if it wasn't for those turnovers, and West Virginia would have scored, this would have been a whole different ball game.